Hello dear viewer, MurdochX here, and if you're new to my channel, I am a PlayStation 2 game collector. My favorite part about collecting for the system is finding the occasional hidden gem. Those games that aren't well known and end up being a pleasant surprise. But then on the other hand, we have the games that look like they're going to be fun, but they aren't. What are those called? What is the opposite of a hidden gem? Found coal? Returned garbage? Blatant bulldookie. Bag of flaming dog poop on your front porch. Games that were clearly going to be terrible, but I bought them anyway. For May of 2018, I added 6 new games to the collection, 4 of which were terrible, 1 was a hidden gem, and 1 that was about what I expected. So here are my first impressions of these 6 games that I've added to my collection. First on our list is Legion, Legend of Excalibur. Looking at the back of this game case led me to believe that this was a dungeon crawler hack and slash game like Diablo. Well, dear viewer, it is not. It is a sort of hack and slash style of game. When you use your attack, your sword will spark, and this is when you should hit your attack button again. They call this a combo move, but it's not. Supposedly if you time your attacks just right, the enemy isn't able to hit you back as much or something. I don't know, it's a dumb system and it's not fun. I did read up on this game, and as you get further in you can recruit other fighters like archers that you can strategically place on the map like a crappy tower defense thing. So here's the deal, this game just wasn't fun and it sounds like it doesn't get any better. I don't know what went wrong during development, but this is a bad game. If you're not a PS2 game collector, there's almost no reason this should be on your game shelf. I'm a little bit ashamed of myself for owning this. Next up is Strawberry Shortcake, the Sweet Dreams game. This is also a bad game, but it wasn't a surprise. It does look neat though. I'm always happy to wander around 3D candy worlds. Unfortunately, this is sort of a faux 3D platformer. The stages are displayed as 3D, but you can only walk left or right along a predefined path. It's an uninspired platformer that uses the excuse that it was made for children. Have you ever played a crappy homebrew platforming game before? That's what this feels like. Almost no effort was put into making this game, and it shows. You can unlock other characters by wandering down this long path and turning in the candy you've collected, but it's really not worth it. This is such a bad game. Let me take a moment to address all of you shovelware game developers out there. I get it, you're trying to make a quick buck and you don't have the time and resources to make a nice polished game, so here's my advice. Just add something that allows for some kind of customization. Remember paper dolls? Litter your crappy game with fun little hats and sunglasses that the player can put onto their paper dolls. Doing something like this would make your game at least have some value. I see that the developer of this game, Eco Software, is still in business and still making games that I've never heard of. Shame on you, Eco Software. Game 3 is Mystic Heroes. This one also looked like a bad game, and it did feel like a bad game, but it has high ratings. I'm not sure what happened here. When I see a game like this that I didn't enjoy but other people are saying is a fantastic game, I have 3 thoughts. 1. Maybe these great reviews are lies. There are plenty of shady game companies out there that do things like put out fake reviews. 2. Perhaps this was an early release for the PlayStation 2. Maybe this was a great game at the time. As someone who's reviewing a game from 2002 and 2018, it is a little bit unfair for me to compare something like this against the new God of War game. And thought number 3, it's always possible that it's a good game and I just don't like it. There are plenty of popular games that I don't enjoy and there are plenty of games that I love that other people don't like. As far as this game goes, I'm leaning towards number 2. I think this game got a good review because it was one of the better releases in the early days of the PlayStation 2. I reserve the right to be wrong, but I didn't like it. I just mashed the circle button a lot. It was tedious, it was slow, and I couldn't figure out how to heal. Game 4 is the biggest disappointment on this list for me. Shepherd's Crossing appears to be a Harvest Moon style of game based on the back of the game case. It is not. This game made me feel stupid when I couldn't figure out how to put up fences. You sort of pick them up and throw them. I thought I was just doing it wrong and I couldn't figure out the correct way to do it, so I decided to check the manual. I was doing it right. You just sort of throw these stupid fences. Next up is planting seeds. It looks like you just kind of throw them onto the ground and wait. If they don't get destroyed by a random attack, then eventually a plant grows there. Same obnoxious throwing controls to place them where you want them. This game consists of gathering, waiting, and trading. The most interesting part of this game is learning the trading tree. 2 wheat give you a duck. Trade a duck for duck meat. 2 duck meat, give you a rabbit. Wait for the rabbit to grow, then feed it a cabbage and wait for fur to grow and then cut that fur off to trade it for cheese. Now, this is not an accurate list of what is traded for what because I'm so unimpressed with this game that I'm not willing to do any more research on it. The most interesting thing about this game is that it got a sequel on the Nintendo DS that's worth a lot of money. It's probably a rare game that no one bought because the first game was a terrible game that no one bought. I still feel like there's something good buried in this game somewhere, but at the end of the day, this is just some nice graphics slapped together into a game over the course of a month. This is a game that the developers should have been ashamed of, but instead they made a sequel. The developer of this game is a Japanese company named Success. They have a giant list of bad games, most of which we were lucky to never receive here in the States. And now for some good news. Game 5 is Wakeboarding Unleashed featuring Shaun Murray. This game is 100% a hidden gem. It's fast-paced action with Tony Hawk controls. The stages are interesting and creative. While at first this feels like any other Tony Hawk game, you begin to notice little things that set it apart. First, there's a slight pull towards the center of the lane, like if you were really being dragged behind a boat on a wakeboard. Next, there's the wake following the boat, which is always there and acts like a quarter pipe to do tricks off of. There's even hidden pathways and destructible stage elements that make replaying the stages interesting. Games like this are why I love collecting for PS2. If you still own a PlayStation 2, please add this game to your library. You won't be disappointed. And now for the final game in today's video, SSX Tricky. This is about what I expected. There were SSXs and they were tricky. SSX stands for Snowboarding Supercross, by the way. Go ahead and Google that sometime. There are some funny arguments about it. I know that some of the SSX games are hugely popular and I don't really get it. There's nothing wrong with this game, it's fun enough, but it doesn't stand out either. Back in the PS1 days, I loved playing the Cool Borders games. I don't think that the SSX games are as good, but they do seem to be more popular. I'm not sure what happened there. I suspect marketing, but to me this is just kind of a bland game. I have been told that the first and third games are better than this one, so maybe I just started with the wrong game in the series. I promise to get back to you on this topic. With these 6 new games added, my collection now stands at 473 out of 2,012 games for a total of 23.5% of a complete North American PlayStation 2 collection. That total includes special editions, but not case variants. As far as individual games, there are around 1,850 here in the US, I think. It's surprisingly difficult to find a comprehensive list, so I use PlayStation Age to track my collection, and when I find a game that they don't have listed, I post about it in their forum, and they are always super cool about adding it to their database. So that's it. I did buy more than 6 games in May, but these are the only ones that I got around to. May was a strange month for me. I got into an accident at work and I wasn't entirely sure if I still had a job, so I completely cut off my spending. But good news, I still have a job, so I can afford to keep buying these old video games and making videos about them to justify my collection. So thank you. Thank you for watching these videos and thank you for sharing them. This whole YouTube thing is something that I've really been enjoying, and I'm now in year 2 of making videos, so this year I'm focusing on increasing the quality. I'm still using my cell phone to record these, but I'm hoping to pick up some better lighting and maybe a green screen, and just generally want to increase the quality of these videos. Anyways, that's enough of that whole being polite thing. I'll keep making videos for you jerks, even though you don't deserve them. Treat the viewer with anger and hostility. That's how I do things. It's my plan going forward. It's a good one, I think. I hope.